Hello. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna talk about stuff. This is man. I've tried recording this a lot, and I was doing pretty good last time. But the game glitched, and I want to have a nice, clean game footage. Also, I need to find something to record my audio with that is not OBS because my audio is so botched. But it's gonna work for today. Um, Today I want to talk about loneliness, and specifically loneliness in terms of relationships, and how I feel like I don't have, you know, I feel like I want to have one of those. I want to have a relationship with another person, with a woman. You know, um, but I'm not very good at socializing or talking to people, and I'm also shy. Um, the the one time a woman did flirt with me, I think it was only once. Now, I mean, come on, man. I'm probably pretty dense. It's probably happened more than once. Now that I'm thinking about it, but the one time a woman did flirt with me did not work out, bro, and I'm glad it didn't. In hindsight, but also in hindsight, I was dumb, and I think there were things, obviously, that I was like, oh man, she's definitely, flirting with me. And whenever that would click in my head, I locked up. And I did not, I did not allow myself to kind of go with that. Um, and I have to say, probably not a good thing that that happens. And it it's so weird because I was gonna say I'm worried. No, I know for a fact that if you know if I start looking for a relationship, um, number one, I'm not gonna be good at it. Okay, it'll be my first relationship, which you know, uh, and on top of it being my first relationship, it would also be really, really awkward because whenever someone flirts with me, okay, whenever a woman flirts with me, I lock up and I get very, almost like this defensive, and I kind of shut down a little bit, and it's scary, and I, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm such an antisocial person now compared to how I used to be, and I used to be able to make friends pretty easily, and um, that was back in like elementary school though, and that was a man. What a time! Elementary school was really weird for me. For most people, it was like recess, and like they made friends and stuff like that. For me, it felt like I don't know. It felt very weird. Formative years of my life that I really look back on and understand. Like that's why I turned out that way that I am now, but not in a bad way. Not fully a bad way. And I have to say, uh, back on topic with relationships and being lonely, the reason I'm even thinking about this stuff is because I'm finally in a place in my life where that's one of my more pressing issues now is um, that which is really weird to say because most of my pressing issues, I used to have so many, and now I have like two, and it's made me feel very it's made me feel both relieved and worried because now I'm thinking about things that previously younger me brushed off as I don't need that right now. And I think that really hurt me in the long term. I used to always say, oh, I don't need a relationship. I don't need that. I'm focusing on myself. Sure, buddy. Sure you were. I say that. I really did try for a long time to just be a better person. And it's hard to be a better person when you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I didn't even know what being a better person at that time really meant. I just felt like I had to be better. I will say, I do think I'm a quote-unquote better person now, but I don't think I'm too different as a person. And so now I kind of regret not trying back then, but I think the result would have been pretty similar to how I feel right now. In that back then I was still shy, so I find a relationship to be one of those things I used to think about pretty infrequently. I used to, it's like, yeah, it's something I want, but like I don't need that right now at this moment. And now I'm in this kind of point where it's come to a climax of I need someone in my life, but it's not going to be easy, and I don't know how to start, and all sorts of different things. So now that I'm, now that I feel like it's something I want to do, I'm faced with the issue of, well, how? And who? And when? And I've kind of, as I've continued thinking about it today, and while recording this, I've kind of come to a conclusion that you just gotta let certain things happen. And that, sure, I may continue to feel sad for months, next year maybe, and it's certainly not going to just fall in my lap, right? I'm certainly not just going to wake up and, oh, yep, I have a girlfriend. Like, that's not going to happen. And so I've kind of come to the conclusion that maybe right now it's okay to think about it. It's okay to be sad about it, but I also am finding solace in that it's one of those things that doesn't need to be something I worry about every single day, and it probably won't be, but it's gonna hurt for a minute. That's for sure. I've had a really hard time with dealing with this, specifically from family. Not that they particularly give me a hard time because, like, they think I'm like a terrible person or anything, or like, wow, you don't have a girlfriend, you suck, man. Like, you need to you need to go talk to women. But more so like, hey, why don't you? And it's, my sister, it came out, I'm going to say something, right? My sister, she had asked me if I was gay, like, I don't know, 3 times past 5 years. It's like, no, no, and no. And, it's funny looking back on it now, but, uh, she was just looking out for me, man. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that my sister is someone who will look out for me like that. I I love her more than anything in the whole world, and it's awesome that she's there for me and cares that much. But you know, it's been a little annoying. It is a little annoying when you have to be like, no, I'm not gay. No, I'm not ace. I'm not asexual. Wait, isn't ace asexual? I don't know. I'm not asexual. I'm not, I'm not these things. Um, and it can be a little tiresome, especially when you're getting asked, so when you gonna get a girlfriend? It's like, haha, it's really funny. Quit asking. Because if I told you the likelihood, you'd be really mad at me. um, but just it's it's been an experience. Because I think as much as I told myself, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. I don't, need that right now. Um, it's so obvious to me now that that was just a way of me coping so that I didn't have to deal with it at the time. Um, and now it's something that it's here, and I should probably deal with it. And it's weird. It's something I definitely want to work on. I want to see where it goes, but I don't think it's worth this, what I'm going through with it right now. I'm very hot and cold about it right now, and I don't think it's worth being that way. I don't think that's necessary. And so, just right now, I'm gonna try to just keep things pushing for a bit. But I'm not done. I want to go into another topic, and that is seeing your friends in relationships when you're not. It's strange, not in a bad way. In fact, I'm almost always happy for my friends when they're in a relationship. But it's still strange. It's one of those things where I'm happy when I see it, but I'm really sad when I see it crumble. Um, and my best buddy, you know who you are. I know you're watching this, but he's great. And he and his girlfriend, unfortunately, broke up last year. And it happens all the time. Typical thing. But for me, we were literally hanging out the day after it happened, and it was certainly a weird feeling, and it was so strange just knowing that, I know how hard it hit him, you know, and and it was pretty simple compared to our other friend, who was also there, but his girlfriend, man, I just, man, his ex was something else. And I do feel bad because he looked to me for certain bits of advice because, uh, I guess because I'm rational, maybe. I don't know why he went to me, but I did tell him what I thought, and I said, hey, this is a really weird situation, because it was a weird situation he was in, and, I was like, hey, this is a weird situation, whatever, whatever. And then, he ended up getting with the girl, right? And I didn't mind that too much. I didn't mind. It was good seeing them together. But it was like watching a train wreck. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't take your eyes off of it. But there's not really anything you can do. Um, and that's how I felt about his relationship, and it was really weird watching it. Um, and it feels really strange, seeing that stuff, because it's kind of put me in this position where I I feel like I've learned a lot about relationships without having to be in one. Um, Obviously everybody's different, and that's a big thing. And but watching my friends and seeing just this young love, seeing that, and just the way I felt, I I almost feel like it reinforced my idea of like, damn, I really don't need a relationship if these are how they are. And not to say that like it was always a bad thing, but that it was a lot of maintenance. And yeah, a relationship's going to be high maintenance. I know. But this was just. I think it. I think it made me almost. It made me almost like not want to be in one, especially when every time something would happen. Of course, those are my two best friends, so I'd find out. Um, and it almost scared me, um, in a way where, do I really want that? Can I really handle dealing with stuff like that? And, now, obviously, like, it's been a few years. I know what I can and can't handle. And I also want to note that I've been told my whole life, because every time my response was, "You gonna get a girlfriend? Not interested." I've been told my whole life by everybody, but one person, that, oh, you'll have that eventually. You'll understand one day. One guy was always there, and when I brought up to him about how I feel and how I felt so unready and unworthy for a long time, and saying what I want, and how I had felt like I missed out on a lot by not having a relationship at a younger age, uh, like a teenage age. Um, he said to me, and I'll always remember this, bro. He said to me, "You wouldn't have messed with it. You wouldn't have liked it," and it kind of was weird, right? Nobody had ever said that to me. My own parents encouraged me to do these things, and I said, "No, I'm good." And You know, I always thought, am I disappointing? Is this like, is this just something like, because I know it's not normal. Um, am I just like, do I get on their nerves by constantly being like not normal? You know what I mean? But my friend, my best buddy, he said to me, "You wouldn't have enjoyed it," and that kind of hit me in a weird way, and it made me realize that, man, he's right. He was right. I wouldn't have, and so that was useful for overcoming it. For a while, for a little bit, I was really in that zone of, you're right, man. I wouldn't have enjoyed the typical high school relationship. Because, knowing yourself is kind of hard sometimes and easy other times. The I always knew I probably wouldn't like those things, but would that be true? Like, would I actually not like those things, or am I just secretly at heart like, would I? And it was nice having someone else be like, no, someone who's known me for my whole life. Just tell me, nah, you're you're chilling. And that helped me cope with, like, hey, I that really was some shit that I was thinking about for a long time, and now it's not that high school era anymore. It's not, you know, it's not that feeling of like, oh, well, I'm missing out on high school. Now it's a feeling of, I gotta at least try, you know. Uh, I I don't know. It's been a very strange time recently. The more things get better, the more they get worse, and that's that's very nihilistic to say. But the reason it's true is because when one problem disappears, another shows up, and life isn't perfect, and the struggle is what gets you, is what both builds character and gets you where you're going. And it's just, at this point, I've dealt with this so much that it's just another day, you know. um, and I'm just hoping, for the best in the future, and for everything to just work out. I'm really hoping for everything to go swell. um, and I think things will turn out all right. They have so far, but it's it's gonna be one of those years, I think, for me, where things are gonna change, and I'm gonna have to really figure it out. Um, and it's gonna be weird, and I don't know. I'm interested though. I think things will turn out okay. Um, and at this point, I'm just yapping so I can finish this, so that there's a satisfying conclusion. Because the gameplay's live, and I just want to finish this arena. All right. I'll see you later.